The shifter knob on my lawnmower broke off years ago. I think it's time to make a new one. Why not make it out of this chunk of walnut? Come along with me and let's get started. So this is the shift lever of my lawnmower. Now there's supposed to be a knob on top, but it broke off, leaving this sharp dagger to continually cut my leg and endanger my life. This is a typical scenario. I'm mowing, I go to get off, and oh, it gets me in the leg. And then all manner of chaos and pain ensues. Let's remedy this. First thing that I did was cut some walnut into roughly 4-inch circles. And here I've glued 5 layers together, and I've put my worm screw in the end so that we can chuck it in the lathe. Now using my gouge, I'm going to work on turning the blank down perfectly round. Now we're going to start working on the bottom side of the shifter knob. We're turning this down to a little smaller diameter. We're also going to start working on rounding over the bottom edge. Now once we get that done, we remove our tailstock so that we can get to the end. We're making a slight recess in the bottom of the knob. This will help conceal the insert nut that we're going to put in it later. And then after that, we go ahead and do the sanding on this end while we can get to it. Now once we get the bottom of the knob finalized, we're going to go ahead and drill for the insert nut while we've got a flat bottom on our blank still. If we waited till we rounded it, it'd be hard to drill a perpendicular hole. Here's the insert nut. I've sized this to fit the thread on my shifter knob handle. Make sure you get the one that fits yours. Now using the right size Forstner bit, we pre-drill a hole, and then using a big screwdriver, we screw in the insert nut. And this is why we recessed it, so that from the side you don't see it. Now we need to turn the top of our knob round, but to do that, we have to chuck it in the lathe by the bottom of the knob that we've just turned. So to help pad it, I'm going to put some painter's tape around it, so maybe the jaws won't mar it. Now with our gouge, we start turning the knob down to the diameter that we want. Now at the same time, we're also tapering the bottom of the knob into the stem that we turned earlier. By doing this, we start to get a sense of how tall our knob needs to be. So I'm going to take my parting tool and start to cut off the excess material at the top of the knob. Once I get down so far, I'm going to switch to a saw to cut the remainder. Now it's a matter of rounding the top of the knob. It was about right here that my gouge caught, and the knob is here 1 second and gone the next. It flew off the lathe. This is what resulted. Not exactly the outcome we were looking for, but I think we can salvage it. We're going to cut off most of the jagged on the bandsaw. And then taking it over to the disc sander, we're going to finish cleaning it up, trying to just square up the bottom again. It's going to be a little shorter with no recess, but At this point, that's as good as it gets. So after reclamping it in the lathe with no tape this time and making sure it was tight, we finished turning it down, and then we sanded it through all the grits to make it smooth. And here it is. You can definitely see where the lathe chuck bit into it. I'm not going to lose sleep over it though. After all, it is just a lawnmower knob. It's not fine furniture. But, you know, I wish it hadn't happened, but you live and you learn. And for a finish, we're just going to use gloss polyurethane from a spray can. We're going to put several coats on this because this walnut just sucks it right up. And here's the finished knob. I think it turned out really nice. When I glued it up, I oriented it so that the sapwood and the dark heartwood would kind of alternate and make it look like a stripe. I think it turned out pretty cool. Now, it threads right on the shifter lever on my lawnmower. I'm going to be riding in style. Well, I'm pretty pleased with how our knob turned out. You know, it was a simple project, but it's going to be very functional in its usage. It's definitely going to keep my leg from getting scratched up, and it's going to be the fanciest lawnmower knob in my neighborhood. You know, we had that one little mishap where it flew out of the lathe, and that's pretty much 99% user error there. I'm still new to turning. You know, you strike a balance as to clamping force on your piece versus leaving marks in it. You know, I thought I had that covered with the tape as a padding, but my gouge went in there at the wrong angle. It hit something on the gouge that wasn't a very sharp cutting surface, and it caught and too much force, and it popped it right out of those jaws. So I think we got it fixed, and I think it's really close to the original design. It's a hair shorter, but like I say, it doesn't hurt the functionality of it. I'm very pleased with it, and I can't wait to use it. And I'm very pleased that you stuck to the end of this video and came along with me on this journey. So I'll be back soon, and as usual, we'll have something cool to do, and I hope to see you then. Thanks for watching.